The world is a global village.
And that's because information travels beyond boundaries.
And on this morning on ITV,
we guarantee unbiased analysis on topical issues
that will educate you,
entertain you.
So join us.
Join us.
Join us.
Join us.
Join us.
Join us.
Every Sunday to Thursday, 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. on your ultimate news and current affairs program on television. This morning on ITV TMI. Join us.
Thank you for joining me on TMI Tuesday, the 10th day of March. Like I did say, we're going to be having a couple of topics that we'll be discussing alongside politicians and, of course, public affairs analysts, legal practitioner. And I have before us the aspect of the removal of the Emir Sanusi II from office as a monarch in Kano State Emirate Council. And all of this generating ripples and forms the reason for which we also look at this in order to look at how it's panning out. And also the court judgments by the Federal High Court in FCT and, of course, in Kano that brought some issues about controversies on the person and office of the APC National Chairman, Adams Oshomole. And discussing this with me at my extreme left, I have the former Senior Special Assistant Politics and Strategy in the Office of the Governor and an APC chieftain, Ayamekwe Edokpolo. Thanks for coming.
Thank you for having me, my brother. The pleasure is mine.
And next, I have a custodian of the law. By that I mean a legal practitioner, and he is Matthew Edarese. Thank you for coming, Matthew.
Thanks for having me, Phillips.
Well, we will be joined by Prince Gregory Ogogwa in a jiffy. But while we wait that, the first question, looking at the issues of the removal of Emir Sanusi II, and addressing that, and even the governor of Kano State, Ganduje, did say that he is merely a public office holder, and so if he commits any offense, he can be removed. What do you make of this removal and the statement credited to the governor of Kano State in this direction? Matthew.
When you use the term public office holder, it might not be absolutely right or correct. Public office in modern society has to do with offices that are appointable or elective offices. It's a traditional ruler. The traditional institution is not part of that general terminology of public office in the strict sense of it, because it's not dealing with the entire Kano public.
Okay.
There's an emirate. I think they have 5 emirates in Kano now by their own arrangements. So it was only a traditional ruler of one of the emirates. I thought about 6 other, I don't know, that the government of Kano created. So that is that. The dethronement or the deposition of the Emir of Kano, Sanusi, Lamido Sanusi, came as a rude shock to many. He's a man that is highly respected. Beside the office he occupies, his personality, his pedigree, towards like a colossus. But to be so easily demolished by way of dethronement was an unexpected development or turn of events.
Okay.
But then it has happened.
It has happened.
Yes, it has
we can only talk about it now that it has happened.
It has happened.
Okay, I take your viewpoint, Ayamekwe Edokpolo. Like Matthew Edarese did say that it came as a rude shock. But do you see that way? Because a lot of us saw it coming from the development that transpired.
It didn't come to me as a rude shock, because the handwriting, was clearly on the wall, manifestly on the wall. First, we saw the attempt, to whittle his powers, to whittle his area of influence.
Strategically.
And using the law. We saw the House of Assembly in Kano State, talking about creation of other emirates, inside that same place. So reducing his powers. So he saw the handwriting on the wall. Like I tell people, a good leader must have the intrinsic capacity, to pick his battles and understand the handwritings on the wall. So I think with due respect to Lamido Sanusi, he failed in these parts. He should have seen the handwriting on the wall, because the governor came out clearly that the tendency of Emir Sanusi as to his re-election bid was clearly, antithetical, quote and unquote, to his own aspiration. And so it was a case of, I will deal with you. And it started playing out. You saw the House of Assembly, talking about balkanization, creation of new emirate councils within the Kano. So he saw all of these things playing out. So he should have picked his battles. He should have choose whether to stay or whether to go. And so if he are
choosing to stay,
meaning that he will have to shed his sword. And
come to compromise.
If you like, coming to compromise does not necessarily mean to become, an apron string or a stooge of the government. No, it could only mean that he has to reduce his intellectual verbosity, as to speaking to the ills of the society, which the governor frowns seriously at. And people tend to underestimate the powers of a governor. The governor owns the life and death of the people of the state. It may interest you, sir. Almighty Supreme Court will find somebody guilty and sentence the person to death. Until the governor signs the death order, the man will remain in prison. And the governor, whether sound-minded or drunken-minded, can just give an order for a man so sentenced to death to be released. And that's the end. Okay. So all the litigation process and everything, all the while, will just end by his. So the power of the governor must be put in perspective. So, but for me, I think that people really feel traumatized. And I read the letter by former President Olusegun Obasanjo, referring to him, as an astute nationalist and wishing him best in his future endeavor. But for me, I think that he didn't clearly see the handwriting on the wall. It's unfortunate, and it's going to be a watershed. Okay. And we're going to learn a lot of this, and some of these things are going to influence our legislative and judicial jurisprudence.
Okay, thank you. You spoke as a strategist that you are, and looking at that, just like he said, and also bringing the letter of the former President Olusegun Obasanjo to play, where he did say that the news came as sad news and also good news. Sad news in the sense that he was undeserving of the punishment, underlined, and good news in the sense that he paid the price. Do you agree with the former President in this direction?
Obasanjo is entitled to his own opinion on any public issue of national importance. But then, my view might be a bit different from Obasanjo's own on this very development. When he says he paid the price, it could mean two things. It could mean it serves him right. It could mean he sacrificed. It could mean sacrifice.
For the people?
Yes. Being punished unjustly for doing what is right. That is another way of paying the price. You can also pay the price by way of retributive justice. You deserve this turn of event by reason of what you have done in the past. I think I will look at it from the other way, the other perspective of how he played certain roles that led to his emergence as the Emir of Kano. I think he rose on the back of a tiger, and he got consumed in the end by the same tiger, in the belly of the tiger, ended up with the belly of the tiger. He played a very, very dominant role in the unmaking of Jonathan Goodluck administration. He was very, very vocal in opposition to every policy of Jonathan government, close to the period of the 2015 election. And that played a very, very strategic role in demystifying Jonathan and depopularizing it, the administration. I think having done that, people saw his emergence as a compensation for the Hatchet job. Because then he was overtly working for the opposition. It was not hidden anymore. Because he became, even though a public office holder, an appointee of the administration, he became an opposition personified against Jonathan administration. And the beneficiary of that, his stance, was the opposition party, then the APC. And at the end of the day, he was well rewarded by this emirship of Kano. And now again, I think he wanted to reenact that feat. He simply boomeranged. He wanted to be our opposition again to those who appointed him in Kano. And the man do not have the kind of magnanimity and meekness of Jonathan to accommodate those tendencies.
Okay.
And he fought back like a lion and devoured him.
Okay, so you see it as a wrong footing for him.
He chose the wrong fight. And he was pummeled to stupor.
Well, if I take a bit of history, Nigerian history, and what we were taught in school, that the system of administration in the north is highly centralized, you know, where the monarch is highly respected. At what point can we say this is missing? Because this is quite an opposite of what we read about in school.
Yeah, you see, when, as at the time we talk about the highly centralized traditional system in the north, we're looking at it vis-a-vis, you know, colonial indirect rule system.
Okay.
I know what we are talking about. You know, we're talking about the source, why certain regions, why indirect rule succeeded in certain regions. And the reason why, for instance, it failed, you know, it succeeded in the north was because of the centralized traditional system. The people bow, the people worship the traditional rulers. And so the colonialists killed their system of administration through the traditional rulers.
And benefited
a lot from that system. So that was right. But since Nigeria became an independent nation, a lot of evolutions, you know, have taken place within the traditional system in itself. You know, the political actors, the elites, you know, have one way or the other. This is not the first time an emir of Kano is deposed or dethroned. They interest you that as far back as 1963, a Lamido Sanusi was also dethroned, and that is the grandfather of the current, you know, Sanusi, dethroned Sanusi. Yeah. And so the facts are there, so that it is not the first time. It is not to say that traditional rulers should not be respected. I belong to the school of thought that says that we should look at our traditional rulers as much as they keep themselves within the etiquette of the defining responsibilities of traditional rulers as demigods, if you like. I say it for real, because we should respect them, but they should keep themselves. They should keep the honor of the throne, you know, within the etiquette, you know, of the defining traits of a traditional ruler. For instance, a traditional ruler should have no business saying, an opposition gubernatorial aspirant want to come and visit me. No, I will not receive him. I don't want the governor to be annoyed. No, you receive all. It is what you say that makes the difference. I'm a traditional ruler. You have come to receive me. You have come to see me today. I wish you all the best. The governor comes, say, you are the governor of the state. You have come to see me today. I wish you all the best. You make such statements without any ulterior motivations or whatever. You find yourself, your throne, continually respected. But when you now begin to play certain roles, you know, undeserving of a traditional ruler, then it becomes a problem. So, but in all of these, I think that there are a lot of things to learn. I share the thoughts and sentiments expressed by my distinguished co-discussor, you know, Barrister Edega said. I agree with him that Sanusi was extremely, you know, vociferous in the countdown to the 2015 presidential election. Even though my party, the APC, benefited from all of that, but I think that it was undeserving of a highly respected public officer, you know, to turn yourself to an embodiment of oppositional institution within a government. It's unethical in strict sense of appreciation of an office, of a public officer. So he should have appeared neutral? He should have been substantially neutral. And, you know, because we are told, we know as political... Substantially or strategically? Substantially. When I say substantially neutral, meaning that you'll be conservative. Yeah. Public officers, we are told that civil servants are seen but not heard. But if you say substantially neutral, because I have an issue with that, substantially underlined. Yes. Is it possible to be substantially neutral? You can be substantially neutral. No, when we say you are substantially neutral, yes, we are only saying that the number of times you talk to the press is significantly reduced. In public less. In public less, that is substantially neutral. It's not be too visible. It may not be too visible. Because we are told one of the guiding philosophy of civil service is that they are seen but not heard. When you go to public functions now, like the commissioning of a project, You see the permanent secretary sitting next to the commissioner. It's the commissioner that will do all the talking and everything. Not the PS is not looking at everybody, all is fine. Then you want to corner him, say, meet the commissioner. He walk away. They are seen, but not heard. He was a public servant on account of his CBNship, the governorship of the governor of CBN. So he ought to have restrained himself. So the frequency of his verbosity as to dishing out of figures, which in most cases he ought to have been extremely conservative about them. You know, so he just turned out. In fact, any information that just come to his desk, he just leak it out to the press. At that level, it was unwarranted.
Okay.
Yeah, but again, let me correct the point. It was not this current governor that appointed him. He was appointed by Kwankwaso. Kwankwaso was the then governor, you know, although outgoing governor, that gave him that kind of traditional immunity. Because when he became an emir, there was no need for EFCC and others to go and bother to say they want to drag him here and there, because there were corruption allegations, you know, hovering around his neck and all that, you know. But whether they were real or imaginary is a different ballgame altogether. But the point I'm making is that he was rewarded, so to speak, in quotes, you know, by Kwankwaso for playing certain critical roles. But as we speak today, the elites of Kano have come to agree that the way and manner he has been carrying himself, you know, was unbefitting of the holder of such a traditional position.
All right, thank you. I am Edo Polo for making our time to be part of this discussion, and a big thanks to Matthew Dagese. Well, it's not over yet. As we did say that we have a couple of topics, and at a point from now, after the break, we will be having the embattled APC chairman, fears and facts, looking at how this whole seemingly deepened crisis can be resolved or closing the gap. We'll do this after the break.
Hello there, my name is FX the Entertainer, and I'm here to introduce to you the door-to-door delivery service in Benin City, Edo State, Nigeria, OrionExpress.com.ng. Guess what? Whether it's hotel bookings, airport pickups, food or drinks delivery, whatever delivery you want around Edo State, Nigeria, we'll get it to you at your doorstep. And it's very affordable. And of course, we are time conscious. Just log on to www.orionexpress.com.ng and you'll be glad you did. I specially recommend it, and I know that you'll be glad when you go through our website. Our details are on your screen, and guess what? We would make sure that you smile at every delivery. www.orionexpress.com.ng. Have a good day.
Well, we can say on and on about the issues of the embattled APC national chairman, Somole, and the crisis within the party that came to a head last week, where the two courts, federal high courts in Abuja and of course in Kano, came up with contradictory judgments. Well, while we had a break, we had the opportunity to be joined by the former Executive Director of Public Affairs and Social Media in the Office of the Governor, and also former Deputy Director in charge of Communications, Media and Publicity. He is the President of Heritage Farmers and a chieftain of the APC. Prince Gregory Ogiogwa, thanks for coming.
Thank you so very much for having me, and good morning, Edo people.
And also, I still enjoy the presence of the former Senior Special Assistant in the Office of the Governor in Politics and Strategy, Ayamekwe Edo Polo. Thanks for still being here.
It's a pleasure, my brother.
And of course, the custodian of the law, who will also give us robust direction in respect of legal matters in this discussion, Matthew Dagese. Thank you for still being here.
Thanks for having me.
All right, so about the issues of the embattled National APC chairman and Prince Gregory Ogiogwa, looking at the contradictory judgments, there were cheers, there were boos. How did you receive that development?
I didn't see them as contradictory judgments. You know, it's a good thing that we have a barrister here who will probably explain, throw more light on it. But one was an interlocutory injunction, the other was an interim injunction. Both of them were courts of co-jurisdiction, which meant that the second judgment could not supersede the first judgment. That's what it meant. Now, the second judgment, which was an interim injunction, please, barrister, correct me at any given time.
Interim, yes, interim.
Yes, that second judgment, which was an interim injunction, right, could not supersede the interlocutory injunction that came earlier on in the day, same day. And there were two totally different issues. At the time the interim injunction was given, and it said maintain the status quo. The status quo as of that time was that Comrade Adams Oshomole was already suspended. And the court, as a national chairman, and the court had already recognized it as of that morning. That was the interlocutory injunction. The interim injunction was basically a nullity.
Okay.
And you could see he himself, when he made his own press conference, he said he has appealed the injunction against him. Now, you won't appeal an injunction if you already have another order setting aside what the initial injunction. Now, what happened with Comrade Adams Oshomole? What happened with him was just a simple matter of the normal arrogance of power.
Okay, I'll come back to you. Pause there, and let's get the viewpoint of the custodian of the law before I come to Ayamekwe Edopalo. What is said concerning the interim, the interlocutory injunction that falls in your purview? Explain.
Yes, interlocutory injunction that was issued by the Abuja High Court was subsisting. As at the time we held the one coming from Kano, the interim injunction, and the order, the consequential order made by that Kano judge,
yes,
was scandalous. It has no place in law. By that consequential order, he appeared, or he purported to be overruling or upturning the decision of a court of coordinated jurisdiction. And a court of equal jurisdiction cannot seek on appeal over the decision of a court, of another court, of same powers. So in law, it is not done, it's an aberration. Having been aware that the Abuja High Court has already given an order, a restraining order, interlocutory for that matter, not interim. Interlocutory is still throughout the pendency of the case until the judgment is delivered.
Okay. But by that, are you saying that the judgments are contradictory?
It's not contradictory. Okay. Contradictory means it can even happen. It is a nullity. The second one is almost, it's like a nullity. It's founded on no law. No law gives it life. It can't live, can't stand.
Okay. And may I quickly point out something, sorry, barrister, I think one point we missed out. You see, an interlocutory injunction, from my understanding, means that Comrade Oshomole had counsel there. So every single case, every single point, every single argument he had against his suspension, his counsel made, and the court still found against him.
Yes.
Am I right?
Yes, yes. So, having that being the case, I don't know what informed the Kano misadventure, as I want to term it. There was already a notice of appeal, according to the Oshomole team, that they have filed a notice of appeal against the interlocutory injunction with the view of getting it set aside by the higher courts. And there was no stay of execution granted as at that time. So I wouldn't know why they went to Kano to procure an interim order.
Okay.
The consequential order they made, that was what worried me so much, that Oshomole should be escorted to the office by the DSS. What that means is that the judge who gave that interim order in Kano was fully aware that there's a restraining order.
Of course.
That's the point. That's the point.
Yes.
That's the point that Greg missed out.
If he has stopped at saying status quo should be maintained, we will take it that he was even one of the fathers.
Exactly.
Something has happened.
Exactly.
But because he was in full consciousness of that reality, and he intended to annul that reality, to abort it, he now said If you were not aware that Oshomole had been restricted from going there, there would have been no need to say escort him there.
All right, thank you.
So he cannot sit on appeal over the issue of Abuja Court.
Thank you. Well,
it was
is also a chieftain of the Progressive Congress, and both chieftains are here. And all of this issue, what's your perspective in the direction of the
to start with, in my very candid opinion, what the Kano judge did is an attempt at a notorious radicalization of jurisprudence. It's an attempt at notorious radicalization. See, from a primary educational point of view of law, a court of coordinate jurisdiction cannot sit over and above another. You cannot go to Kada High Court and get a ruling to upstage a ruling, delivered in Benin City High Court.
Is it possible there was a pressure?
It's not done.
Is it possible there was a pressure?
Yeah, of course. You see, the judge was certainly overwhelmed by pressure, what you would call principalities in high places, so to speak. But it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. Because what the judge has done, is to open a floodgate of petitions and asking for, critical, judicial discipline of some early judges. Like, I appreciated what the Supreme Court judge did while delivering judgment on the Bayelsa
of the Bayelsa election.
And he slammed the two senior advocates of Nigeria, fined them 30 million naira each. For me, I would have, if it would have been kind, it would have been more kind if he had added 110 each, making it 300. No, it's very painful. It's very painful. That according to the judge, the Supreme Court judge, she said, I am in tears that learned Sikh of your status could conceive of bringing such a review application before us. That she was in tears as she was reading the judgment. So the point I'm making is that I am also in tears in an overview of the two cases. One is an FCT High Court, the other is the Kano State High Court. One attempting to be an appeal over another. It's an absurdity in his worst form.
Okay,
and this is what I'm saying, that politicians must refrain, from stretching the boundaries of legislation and judiciary to the level of notoriety.
All of this is happening because the national chairman of APC, is being fingered as suspended. Yes, as suspended. Yep. It's been fingered as being bossy. It's been fingered as playing the role of a godfather. What's your take in that direction?
You see, to start with, Comrade Oshomole, with all due respect to him, he's a man that appreciates, critical political relations. But unfortunately, he doesn't know where to draw the lines in battles. I have said, and I continue to maintain, that one of the intrinsic parameter of measuring a good leader is his capacity to pick battles and read handwritings on the wall. Your ward executives in Ward 10, Esako West, held a meeting, passed a vote of no confidence on you, and suspended you. As national chairman, you ought to have the political security, infrastructures or superstructures in your palm to be able to read where things are likely to happen and make amends. Okay, what are the issues? The issues borders about the governance trajectory in Edo, that the governor of Edo State seemingly, is not carrying certain persons along. And the argument is that it is not true, because the whole purpose of governance is to give critical service to the people, which Godwin Obaseki has done exceedingly well. Has done exceedingly well. So if there are misgivings, or if there are, what you call it, small issues, you should overlook it in the larger picture of what the governor has done. And so to now say you are working to deny such a person a second-term ticket, to me is an absurdity.
Okay, you served when he was governor.
Absolutely.
As senior special assistant.
Yeah, politics and strategy. Yes.
Now, what do you perceive of him in respect of the bossy attitude and the emergence of Obaseki as governor in terms of his support and his recent predisposition?
Yeah, first of all, I would say that his reading of Obaseki as a man, as a technocrat, and a man that could manage the affairs of the state from the point of view that the state was in a shaky foundation.
Okay.
Owing to loans, owing to challenges, owing to demands of the people and all that, was correct that Godwin Obaseki was going to do it. And when he was campaigning, he did say that his greatest gift to the people is Godwin Obaseki. And the man having come on board, the man has shown a greater capacity in crisscrossing, the hurdles of governance to delivery to the people.
Okay.
Having done that exceedingly well, I do not see any reason why, a predecessor will want to be a godfather over a successor who is doing exceedingly well. And having regards to your rhetoric of anti-godfatherism, for which we, myself and distinguished Honorable Charles Idausa, who were in charge of the political department of Government House. He was the head. I was one of his deputies, talking of Charlie Temple. We managed the governor's political front, as it was then called, Adams Oshomole. We managed him. We manage it. There are things I will not say here in how we crisscross, in how we provided the critical navigation for his first term to his second term, and even to managing the Godwin Obaseki's transition. So the point I'm making is that, a successor, the founder of this television have said that a success without a successor is a failure. Adams Oshomole was already a success, having produced Godwin Obaseki, who was succeeding. And now to become a godfather over such a success, to me, was an aberration and a radical departure from the very organic values he has, stricto sensu, imparted on the people.
Okay.
By saying that godfatherism was the worst form of leadership and that the people should not tolerate it. Now, you should not now be a godfather at the same time.
All right, thank you. To you now, Gregory Gogwa. Now, some believe that this fight, this development, is coming up as a result of a plan to give an opportunity for some persons to have a second ticket, like the governor of Edo State, Godwin Obaseki, to have a second ticket in the gubernatorial race for 2020. Is that true?
Well, I don't know how that comes about. But one thing I know is that the political convention in Edo State, political convention, since I think it was 1983, there has never been primaries for second term for any governor. Never. Ambrose Ali didn't get a primaries for second term. He got an automatic consensus ticket. So did...
so this is not their kind?
So did Chief Lucky Gbinidio. So did Comrade Adams Oshomole. Automatic consensus. You understand? What they are trying to do, how can you bring people, some people who are standing trial for criminal offenses, and then you are trying to bring them? What if you find those people guilty of those criminal offenses between your nomination and election? You have people, it's funny. Now, just like my brother said here before, there was a reason that Godwin Obaseki was chosen as governor.
Yep.
And he told you exactly what those reasons were. There was a recession, a worldwide recession, global recession going on. There was a difficulty in meeting up with the financial requirements of states.
In fixing it?
No, just even meeting up with the normal monthly requirements of states. Paying salaries. Don't forget, Edo State was paying 25,000 when the national minimum wage
was 18,000.
Edo State already had a higher monthly salary bill. Edo State, under Comrade Oshomole, which he did very well in, had done a whole lot of infrastructural developments, which they still had to continue to pay contractors for. There were a whole lot of international financial inputs that still had to be serviced, and so on and so forth. And the decision, it was not even Oshomole's decision. That's why I keep telling people that it was not Oshomole who made Godwin Obaseki. It was the circumstances of that situation at that time. The circumstances.
It was not Oshomole who made
No.
That brought him to limelight.
No. Listen to this. Let me even tell you what's not solely made. Let me even tell you something.
If you look at the former governor, Adams Oshomole,
yes.
he is the predecessor.
Yes.
And it's expected that what the predecessor
Oshomole's
does
first campaign,
is to pave way
Oshomole's
for the successor, which a lot and the public has that to say.
Oshomole's first campaign office, when he was running for governor in 2007, was in Godwin Obaseki's office in Victoria Island, in case you don't know. A lot of the funding for Oshomole's election in 2007 came from Godwin Obaseki and his friends. When they went to the Court of Appeal and they were going through the tribunal, a lot of the funding for the legal thing came from Godwin Obaseki. So who made who governor? So let's be real here. Now, we're not saying it is only God that has power. It is God who gives power to whoever he wishes it to give to. Oshomole himself, having been governor for 8 years and having been supported by everybody to fight off Godfatherism, he didn't even start No Man is God in Edo State. He was not the one that started the fight against Godfatherism. He met it, he took advantage of it, and he inherited it, and then he because he was governor, he could fund it, and he took it to the next level. But he was not the one that created it, and he's not the one that will end it.
Okay.
And all he had to do was to just do what nature says, that when you have played your part on the stage, exit when ovation is loudest.
Okay, thank you. Well, as reports have it, pro-Oshomole governors and, of course, chieftains of the party are making plans to visit President Muhammadu Buhari in order to stop whatever may be coming up in terms of the proposed NEC meeting for March 17, precisely next week, Tuesday. What do you make of this politicking behind the scene? Matthew. No, Matthew has the floor. I'll come back to you. Sorry.
The political intrigues and drama playing out at the Abuja National Secretariat of the ruling All Progressive Congress is very fascinating. Fascinating and also disturbing.
Okay.
Disturbing in the sense that it is rubbing off on the attention that should have been paid to delivering leadership.
Good governance.
Yes. It's a distraction. At a time the world is having serious issues with economic crisis that has been affected, impacted negatively by this coronavirus.
Oh, don't say.
Nations are struggling to battle against a possible and impending recession.
Yes.
We are here having leadership recession. Because those who ought to have been ruling Nigeria and delivering results are now engroused in who becomes what, who doesn't become what.
Self-aggrandizement.
Yes, grandstanding.
Okay, are you apportioning blames to either sides of the party?
I am apportioning blame to the man at the center of the whole drama, the person of Adams Ali Oshomole.
Okay.
If he had done certain things right, this whole development would have been unnecessary. They were avoidable. You cannot detach what's happening in Abuja from what happened in Edo State. What the seed that was planted in Edo State, the evil seed planted here, has germinated and it has spread out with branches all over the country. Now you're having about 13 governors, APC governors, stamping their feet on the ground that this man, Oshomole, must leave. That is the point we're getting now from the print media. It's not within the range of realm of speculation. I read it in the news. About 13 out of 20, that is about 7. 7 against 13. That is overwhelming majority of anti-Oshomole forces within the ruling APC governors.
And their senators and ministers.
Okay, but if you are saying this, like you said, is fascinating and again disturbing.
Yeah, disturbing.
Let's take our minds back to the recent visit by the national chairman in Edo State when he came for the burial of the mother of one of the chieftains of the party and the development that occurred. Don't you see that as unnecessary?
That is why I say disturbing. Those are the dividends of the crisis that's already ongoing.
Okay, but the role of some youths that disturbed the person of the suspended national chairman, do you see that as right?
I will not pass judgment on anybody when I do not know who did what and who did what and at what point. Because when you say the youth is nobody's name. I can't identify, that is a mob. I cannot pick and point at anybody. So a mob action is like an action done by the ghosts. You can't arrest a mob unless you're able to mention names, identify people and the role they played and how they played the role. That's when I can make a judgment on those actions. My own worry is that we have earlier warned that Edo State is a place that will be very dangerous to experiment with godfatherism. Having pronounced that it is a taboo to be a godfather, you rode on the wings of no godfatherism anymore. It should be abhorred with all the strength we can garner. Now, it is going to be possible to call the same people together and say, it is not good to be a godfather. In fact, I want to be a godfather. It is a thing that will lead to a rebellion.
Okay, thank you.
And we have asked one question before, like I remember what I was said. I've asked people, what is Obaseki's sin? There is some element within some party. I say he will not have a second term ticket. They couldn't come up with a straight answer. They said the man is not taking care of certain persons.
And if you even look at the people
let me
saying
finish.
that.
And I said, by my own assessment and observation, I think what Obaseki did wrong, by their own judgment, not by my judgment, is that he simply removed the food is ready signpost at the government house and replaced with a work is ready. That appears to me the only sin he has committed. And it's a holy sin.
Okay, thank you. I am Akwadepolo. Let's pace back to the alleged attacks that greeted the coming of the Adams Oshomole, in Edo State. Do you see that as encouraging? Because we are noted as peace-loving people in Edo State. But the reverse saying what happened.
Without any equivocation, I like to be placed on record that I condemn in strong terms the alleged attack on the former governor of Edo State. Alleged attack on the former governor of Edo State at the airport. And it's also up to me to say that police should try as much as possible to unravel the masterminds. Same way I condemn the attack of Senator Pharmacist Matthew Romide at the airport. You see, I am not a pro-violent person. And I am not afraid to clearly state where I stand. But the point I want to bring here is that since the build-up of forces against Godwin Obaseki, we are beginning to see a new dimension of politicking, which I call boju politics. People just wake up, to fabricate all manner of things. Somebody just wake up and say, there is Bobo. So you go ask the neighbor says, I didn't hear anything. I didn't see anything. Then somebody say, 33 the shots. So I said this, start to ask yourself, where are all of these things coming from? You see, we must shine Edo is not known for those things. We are issue-based politicians. What are the issues? What is Godwin Obaseki not doing right? Bring them to the fore. How you intend to do them right? I read one of the mantra of one of the gubernatorial aspirants. He talks about taking Edo to the next level. I was like, Edo is already on the next level now. What level are you not talking about? Because you are dealing with we have a governor who has made sure that at 28th of the month, some people said 26th, workers get their salary. As I went due, we no longer see pensioners wearing black and black. Then you just wake up without having any powerful politician in your street. You just see caterpillars and heavy-duty machines taking over your street. They want to start working. Nobody in the street influencing. Because when the governor was elected, when he emerged, he set up a team. I saw them just immediately after. I was asking myself, what are these people doing? I didn't clearly know what they were doing. But until I met somebody who told me that the governor asked them to go around for mapping. Okay. They map the whole area. So the governor sits down and look at his diary, look at his drawing, and say, this area has been done. Okay, commissioner for works, let's move to this area.
This next area.
So he just gives directive. He sits in his office. Then you just wake up and see things happening. Without anybody going to say, now you don't know my father-in-law will be that now. Make we do it. No! The governor just do these things in faces, and people are saying, dividends and people are seeing results for their task.
Okay, but if you say again the statement credited to the gubernatorial aspirant you spoke about,
Yes.
though you didn't mention any name.
Of course, I won't.
Now, when he said tagged it the next level.
Next level.
But don't you think that is relative? Because don't you think that at present we have not gotten it right yet?
We have gotten it exceedingly right in all dimensions.
In fact,
I'm telling you.
My brother, if I ask him,
Okay.
define
Relativity,
No, let me
relativity
yes,
in the areas of
yes.
boosting the economy.
What is the economy?
Relativity in the areas of job placements.
creation.
We are doing exceedingly
Job
well.
creations, thank
we
you.
are doing well, exceedingly well in those areas because we now have an office specifically designed for Edo jobs. It's an office.
How effective is it?
It's very, very effective. From time to time, those who apply, they get text messages that so and so jobs opportunities are available. Go and apply. A lot of we are community people.
Without political influence attack.
No politics. You just see text message. I'm telling you. Okay. And when the screening is even on that, when they are doing the screening, they don't take any recommendation or any phone call from anybody. You stay on the queue. It gets to you, and they treat you like that. And when other people get text message, you also get text message. Okay. So the point I'm making is, we are dealing with a very, very quintessential governor that God has given us, courtesy of people like Adams Oshomole, myself, and others. I think that my brother Prince, you play for quite fantastic role during that campaign. But let me conclude by saying that Oshomole should, with all sense of humility, not only retrace his step, embrace the success story that God has given him, from labor leader, from seemingly obscure background to a powerful background of global status. You should not rob yourself in the mud of shame.
Okay, you are not concluding yet, but just in a minute, let's look at the aspect of the Oshomole governors and chieftains that plan to see the president. I don't know if they've seen him or if they are planning to do it.
Yeah, they are planning to do that.
But as in wake of the next week's NEC meeting, what do you think that portends? Or
you see, if you read, that's why I told you. I started this morning by telling you that one of the intrinsic, capacity of a leader is his ability to read the handwritings on the wall. My brother, you don't need any soothsayer to tell you that it is all over.
All over for...
It's all over. It's all over for the comrade, for the national chairman. You see, don't do to others what you want them to do unto you. When you were governor, you did not allow Chief John Odige Oyegu to have an inch of dominance or control or any sort of influence, even in his ward in Ovia, even in his natural bed or place in Ovia, even though by Chief your proprietor's place where he votes, Kada Avenue, the skill acquisition center there, where Oyegu votes. Oyegu always loses his vote because Oyegu is not given to lobbying people to say, now know my unit, or make una support me, I will give una rights, like other politicians do. He doesn't do that.
He's not able to do that.
He doesn't do that. So he doesn't play that kind of politics.
Okay.
And some of us don't play that kind of politics because we believe in bringing some elements of welfarism, to our politicking. Or he doesn't do that. But he usually loses his unit and word and all that. And because the man does not bring any sort of influence, the man did not contest anything with you. Federal appointments, the man did not bother to influence with you and all that. The man just kept his own cool as national chairman.
Okay.
Why are you not doing the same? Why are you not doing the same?
Okay.
Why the interference?
Thank you.
Why the interference with the running of government in the state?
Thank you. All right, Prince Greg. Now, looking forward and the proposed meeting for next week Tuesday, what do you think that is?
Well, one thing I know for certain is that the proposed meeting is to take care of a lot of issues that should have been taken care of before by the national chair, suspended national chairman. Because, for example, you see that there were situations where like a former national vice chairman became a minister, and that position now became vacant. There's another situation where I think another national vice chairman became a governor. So there were certain situations, certain positions that became vacant within the NWC. And it is only the power, it is only the National Executive Council that can fill those positions. And normally, if a position, for example, becomes vacant from Edo State, you fill it with somebody from Edo State. But our dear darling comrade commander was now appointing people. So a position becomes vacant in Ekiti, he appoints somebody from Oyo. He was appointing, he was running APC as a sole administrator. not as a national chairman, not as a consensus chairman. And those are the things that the NEC, and you see, look, people keep thinking that, oh, the court moved against Oshomole. Not necessarily so. What the court actually did by affirming that suspension was that, you see, every action that Comrade Adams Oshomole has taken since November the 2nd, every single action he has taken is illegal, null and void.
But don't know.
And if the court and the party had allowed that to continue, you can imagine the ramifications for the party.
Edo State would have ended up not having a governorship candidate.
Exactly what happened in Zamfara.
People don't know what they are playing with. It's a time bomb.
If they had not, and because the constitution also, the APC constitution also has a provision that in the situation where the national chairman or the chairman at local government or wherever, ward level, cannot carry out his job as a result of health, one thing or the other, there's a natural, what's it called? Succession plan. And because the court recognizes that, that is why they had to take that. It is not a political issue. And I'm sure my brother will agree with me that, you see, all these matters you see will all end up in court. It is the courts that will pass the decision. When Oshomole was suspended from Ward 10, Iyamo, there was a quorum that was met. 9 people, a quorum. Since November the 2nd till March, 4 months, he viewed it with impunity and thought that, who are all those local people? He even said it himself on TV.
Okay, but all of this dovetailing, do you see it as bringing an opportunity for a consensus on the present governor of the state?
Of course. Or
there will be primaries?
No. Look, first of all, I can start to tell you the people that are not even members of APC, that thought they just joined APC, they are members of EPM. So they have not joined APC. That's that. Then the ones who claim that they are members of APC, we will subject them to the same tests and trials that we have done in every previous governorship primaries in the history of this state. And if we find out that in the history of the in the history of the second tenure bid of every governor in this state, that every governor who has done well has been given consensus. That's it.
The right of first refusal
has been given consensus by
the stakeholders, by the party stakeholders.
Don't think, you see, a lot of all these people who are in EPM, they have been suspended from APC. They are not stakeholders any longer. They can call themselves whatever they like. They can say they are stakeholders, they can say they are party chieftains, they can claim whatever they like, but they will not be there when the decisions are made as to who the consensus candidate will be. Okay, and the only thing that they can do will be to go to court.
Thank you. Your final words on this, Matthew Edagese, as we wrap up.
I'm very happy you did not drag me into the APC internal politics. I'm not an APC chief. But
that doesn't mean you didn't talk to him, because you could also look at issues for the betterment of the party.
Because whatever happens in the state affects my interests as a citizen of the state and as a stakeholder in that regard. And I have sympathy for the sitting governor because I am opposed to the tendencies against his person.
Okay.
Because those who are saying it should not be are people who do not enjoy my own admiration by reason of the antecedent. So on that ground, from a distance, I am a fan of Obaseki. And I do not want any intrigue that will lead to APC rubbishing their own opportunity to be celebrated.
Okay.
Obaseki appears to be a shining light in the dark tunnel.
Okay, but again, sorry to continue. You did say that all of this fight in-house seemed to be a distraction to good governance.
Yes.
You know, do you see that as affecting the governor of the state? Is he distracted?
He is doing his level best, but without the distraction, he would have done far better.
So you agree?
Yes,
he's distracted to a point?
It's a distraction.
Okay.
No matter how you look at it.
Okay.
It is the degree of impact that we can debate.
Okay. In what areas would you have seen the governor doing well that would meet your admiration in this regard?
By now, we would have been seeing major work being done in combating the menace of flooding in Benin City and some other major towns like Epoma.
Okay, are you looking at the stormwater project?
Yeah, stormwater project is a tag. What we want to see is the water removed from our streets. It's not the label.
Okay.
We want to see practical efforts, practical steps, so that whenever it rains, Benin will be like you have in Enugu, Uyo, and other state capitals. it will be well drained. Whether it is storm water or storm desert, we are not bothered about the words.
Okay, do you see that possible in the next 4 years?
On my way to this place,
do you see that possible in the next 4 years?
On my way to the studio just now, as I was passing by S&T, I had a flashback that I hope this thing will not be as it were before the dry season came in, when the rain comes again. All those are areas that should be touched. Not this distraction and unnecessary intrigues.
Thank you. I think that as your final words on this discussion. Your final words on this.
Yeah,
I did say that you are not concluding yet.
Yeah, I like to say that Edo people, should embrace Gordon Obaseki's administration. APC is a party that means well, and what is playing out right now is a crystallization that will certainly crystallize into a new and resounding leadership of APC national secretariats. So by 17th of March, a new leadership is most likely to emerge and will take our party to greater heights.
Okay, are you looking at the Chief Akonde BC?
No, this matter is beyond Chief Akonde. This matter is beyond Chief Akonde.
Now they're taken by event. Okay, your final words on this, Prince Greg.
Well, you see, my brothers have spoken. They have said basically everything. But one thing that is obvious...
Especially when you are not seeing any opposition for now.
Yeah, but one thing that is obvious is that Obaseki promised to create jobs in Edo State, and he has done that. He promised to create 200,000 jobs. You see, when you were talking about job creation...
When you say he has done that, are you not...
yes, I want to... There's something
maybe you should have said he is doing that.
No. Let me...
Because there are a lot that is still unemployed.
Unemployment is a very serious issue. We cannot say that.
200,000 is a figure. Total number of unemployed in Edo State is something like 1.6 million. So if he promised that he would create 200,000 jobs, and the reason I quickly brought that up to you...
Okay, in relative to that.
Yes, what I wanted to quickly point out to you, because something that people are missing. Okay. We have a new newspaper that goes out free, and it is Job News. And what it does is that it lists all sorts of jobs available all over the world. Edo States, Lagos, Abuja, Canada, wherever. And it goes out free to Edo people in the buses and so on, so that they can get jobs.
So it's not just restricted to Edo State alone?
No! The 200,000 jobs doesn't mean that government secretariat is going to open the doors and say, I bring 200,000.
Otherwise it will be overblown.
We are creating 200,000. We are giving the opportunity to get 200,000 jobs and then remit money from home. If you get a job in Canada or in Ghana, remit money home and let your brother set up a barbing salon and create another one job, another 2 jobs. So that's basically what we're talking about. We're not talking about only just stomach infrastructure, because as you know, I'm a farmer, and I know how many people that I have actually added on in the last 2 years as a result of government support in the agricultural area. We don't have to say that we were selling rice for 23,000 naira before. We're selling at 15,000 naira now.
And I'm here to get a bag of rice from you.
Well, I won't call So, you see, these are the things that I was saying, that you can see the positive progression of our society and in our community and in our state. And like my brothers have said, what has this man done wrong? From food is ready to work is ready.
That is the offense.
That is it. And, people like us, we were in government. Now, they say work is ready. We are saying, okay, we want to plant rice. We want to do this. We want to do that. And government is supporting. Then why are you now saying because you were collecting revenue on behalf of government using thugs, and that is no longer available? Fashionable. You are now you built a hotel on top of government property, and that is no longer fashionable. And then because of that, you say the man will not come back. And man, my brother, I may as well go and bring my son back from Harvard.
Thank you so much, Prince Greg Ogiogwa, for finding time to be part of this show.
Thank you.
And I wish you the best of the day ahead of you. And big thanks, I am Ekwe Dupolo, for taking our time.
Thank you for having me, and special greetings to our viewers at home.
All right. And big thanks to you, Matthew Adarese.
My pleasure.
I could be asking the meaning of Adarese.
Well, you have to pay consultancy.
All right. Well, that's about what we can take on this discussion. It's still TMI, and I've been your host, Philip Omo Gupo. Don't you go away.